Okay, everyone, so I have technically 21 here because my pile's getting big, so I figured I would just hold on to what I have right now and move stuff around. So I am doing 24 books to read in 2024. Last year, I did 23 series to complete in 2023. I did not do that bad, but that was a lot of books. So I'm only doing single books this year. If I concentrated more on my series, I feel like I could have completed it last year, but I didn't. That's okay. So I have 21 here. I still need to pick out 4 more, which I guess I'll do on the fly. Why not? The first 3 that I have on my list is the Star Wars Han Solo trilogy. I read these growing up while I was in high school, 13 plus years ago, and I really wanted to get back into these. I loved these growing up. They were one of my favorites. I actually think I reread it, which is very rare. I rarely reread at all, if at all. And so I have reread these at least twice. So I don't remember what they're about since it's been a long time, but I really want to reread these. So these are going on my priority 24 books to read in 2024. So I guess I'll show you the covers since we're here. The first one, are these in order? Probably not. No, they're not. The first one is The Paradise Snare. And these are the only Star Wars books that I actually really like. I really love them. This one is The Hutt Gambit. And then the third book is A Rebel Dawn, which I think is probably my favorite. If I'm remembering correctly, that one was probably a favorite. Probably because this one has more, like it talks about Leia and everybody else in it versus like, I think, especially the first one, we're following just him. I think when he meets Chewbacca and stuff, so. But they're all really good. All right, so I'm going to put those back on my cart. So we have no room. Actually, they went in the back of the cart. So let me move my cart over closer. There we go. Okay. So the next 2 that I have, this is a sci-fi trilogy or duology that I have been wanting to read since it came out. Basically, it was a cover buy. I mean, check out the cover. It is stunning. So that's the first book, actually. Sky Hunter and Steel Striker by Mary Lou. And I've been wanting to read this series because these covers, again, they are stunning. Even the, these are hardcover. The inside is just as stunning. Like that is just gorgeous. And so I really wanted to read them. Basically, yeah, because of the cover. But I've also been wanting to read more sci-fi and fantasy. So these are going on the list. Finally, I've had these on my shelves for like 3 years. They need to get read. So honestly, don't even know what they're about right now. Let's see. So I'm just going to read the blurb on the back. Might as well. I don't want to spoil myself for anything with these books, although I'll probably forget. But it says, "My name is Talon. I am a striker from Mara, the last free nation on this side of the sea. We are legendary bringers of death, assassins, and monsters, and the only thing standing between our home and annihilation." So kind of gives me feelings of Brandon Sanderson Skyward series. So I will be reading both of those. I have to remember that I have 21 on this list. So the rest, I think, right now are, no, this one. I was going to say the rest are Christian fiction, but this one is not. So this one I read growing up years and years ago. And I remember it being, whoops, ow. Just don't attack me, okay? So I read this one way back when. I remember it being clean. So I'm going to go back into it, read it, and see what I think. This is One Night Enchanted by Claire Delacroix. And she is a secular romance author, but for some reason I really remember this being clean. But this is a new revised edition, so we shall see. But Claire was kind enough, and she actually sent me some book plates, which I think was so sweet of her. I think this one has a book plate in it. Did I not put my book plate in here? Oh, I thought I forgot, but it's in there. So I would really love to read it. And it also is series. I think she's still actually writing the series, because this one was like, it was put way out, like way back. I'm talking like I read this probably when I was like 12 or 13. That's how long the series has been out, at least. But I think she's got book 1 and book 2 out. I'm not sure about book 3. But I really would like to continue it. So this is like a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I know it's about a man who, he finds a genie in the bottle. And I think I started reading it, and he insults this magic genie. And so he ends up being cursed to be a wolf during the day and a man during the night. I think it could be the other way. But so it's definitely a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Really enjoyed it when I read it. I think I did read it probably twice. And so I would like to reread it again. Okay, so so I think the rest on here are Christian fiction, and then I'll go ahead and pick three more on camera because I did not have room on my lap. So next one I have is Things We Didn't Say by Amy Lynn Green. I've heard nothing but good things about this book. I bought this book years ago at a clearance store, and I was like, I read her other book, which I loved. What was it? The Blackout Book Club. Loved it. And then people started reading this one because they loved that one. And I was like, I have this one on my shelves. I really need to read it because people really liked this one as well. So in this one, we're following a girl named Johanna, or Johanna. Could be Johanna because it's German, possibly. Maybe. But she is a linguistics expert. And so she's tasked to work at a German German POW camp in America to look at the letters they're writing to their friends and family, make sure there's nothing bad in them, and she has to look at the letters, of course. So she's doing that, and she might befriend someone while she's there. So I'm very excited to finally get a chance to read this book. Okay, the next is a trilogy, but I only have the second book in my hands. So I have all three on my Kindle, which is great. So happy that I have all three. Thank you to Enclave for that, because I was on the not necessarily launch team, but I helped with their, getting the word out last fall. So they kindly blessed us with all three on Kindle. So I was very excited. So I have all three ready to go. But this is the Children of the Consortium by Kathy McCrum series. And I have just heard nothing but amazing things about this series. And so this is a sci-fi Christian series. I am so excited to get into it. And I actually know nothing about this series. I have really stayed away from people talking about it. Like, I've heard that they love it, but that's all I want to know. So I don't want to know anything about it. So I actually ended up getting this book for like $5 or $6 on Amazon because it was on sale. So I was like, might as well buy the second book, even though I don't have the other two. So if I end up enjoying this series, like I think I'm going to buy the rest. So just think of this as 3 more books to add to my 24 books to read. So next is a Jamie Jo Wright book. She's one of my favorite authors. I love her. She's one of my author friends. And so I had to put a Jamie Jo Wright because I still have, I think, looks like I have 4 left to read from her, which isn't bad out of all of her books, plus her new one that's coming out. So technically 5, but I don't have my hands on that one yet. So I decided to put Echoes Among the Stones by Jamie Jo Wright on this list this year. I was going to put The Haunting at Beneventure Circus on here because I'm always in a good circus mood for a story. But I've recently seen this one pop up on YouTube, and I was like, okay, it's getting a little bit more hyped up again. So I think I'm going to read Echoes Among the Stone. This is a dual timeline, which they all are for Jamie Jo Wright. There's always a mystery, intrigue, and a little bit of gothic. I wouldn't say horror because it's not grotesque horror. It's just like that atmospheric, eerie feeling that you get from reading. She's so good at that. I love that. And so yeah, so really love it. I don't want to know anything into this. All I know is it has to do with a girl named Imogene who works in a beauty salon but has her sights set on Hollywood. But coming home to discover her younger sister's body in the attic changes everything. Ooh, okay. Well, that's all I want to read. Okay, so Echoes Among the Stone. I don't think I've ever read the synopsis for this one, so I just bought it because I wanted all of her books. Do I have all of them? I'm pretty sure I do. So this is on the list to read. Alrighty, next 2 is no surprise to anybody if you saw the little hint of the cover right here. No surprise, because how many times have I talked about this duology on my channel last year, and again, never got to it. Just review books got in the way, everything got in the way. It wasn't on any of my priority lists, so I was like, you know what, let's just move it to 2024. And that is Mountain Laurel and Shiloh by Laurie Benton. I have been wanting to read this series. I pre-ordered Shiloh because I love the covers, and the synopsis sounded so good. I was like, I really want to read these, but did I? No. And I'm scared to find out when this came out. I think it was 2021, if I'm being honest. Maybe 2022. I'm scared to find out. Let's see. Oh, that's right, 2021. So I've had this series now for 2.5 years. Yeah, 2.5. It'll be 3 once we get into fall. So both of these are going on my list. So I know for a fact that this one is about a man who he is a cabinet maker, and he's supposed to come home to he's a cabinet maker turned trapper, and then he has to remake himself again into his plantation uncle's heir. And so he's going to end up being a slave owner back in the day. But he ends up meeting a beautiful girl named Siona, who's artistic and beautiful, but she's also enslaved. And so he is going to help her with her art. I don't know what's going on, if there's going to be a romance. I don't know. But seriously, how many of you have heard me talk about this series? Probably quite a few of you. Not the new people who are here. Thank you for subscribing and being here, but I have talked about this duology many times, and it is now going on a priority list. So I will get it done this year. If it's on a priority list, it will most likely be a lot easier for me to get those read. All right, next one is a middle grade book, which I forgot. This is not Christian fiction. Should have put her at the top, but this is by far one of my favorite middle grade authors. I love her books so much. She is who got me into contemporary books, because I never thought I was a contemporary fan. I like historical romance, but that's still historical contemporary. But I just love her contemporary stories. They always have a really great message. They're beautifully written. And so I am putting a Joan Bauer on my list, because I have most of her entire backlist on my shelves, and I've read a good 4 or 5, and I want to read them all. So I decided to put Rules of the Road on there. And she is a Newbery author, or Newbery Honor, which is awesome. And this is the winner of the Los Angeles Times Book Prize. So I think that's really cool. So this one is about Jenna Baller, who can sell anybody anything. She's the best employee at her branch of Gladstone Shoes, but her family problems are harder to handle. And there are times when Jenna wishes she could just take a break. So when Madeline Gladstone, the elderly president of Gladstone Shoe Stores, hires Jenna as her chauffeur for the summer, Jenna leaps right into the driver's seat. And that begins a cross-country adventure where she and Mrs. Gladstone learn a lot about the rules of the road and the rules of life. Okay, that sounds actually really good. I have a feeling this one is going to be absolutely amazing. I have a feeling it's going to be one of my favorite reads, because, you know, Joan Bauer, I have loved pretty much everything. I think I only gave 1 3 stars. The rest were like 5 stars. So 4.5, 5 stars. Okay. Next, this is another book that I wanted to get to this year. Unfortunately, never had the chance to. And that is The Girl from the Papers by Jennifer L. Wright. Again, this cover is stunning, and I wanted to read it because it's 1920s. It's 1920s. For those of you who may not know, 1920s is my favorite era of reading. Like, I love it so much. 1920s and World War II. Like, I like both of those. But 1920s, that glamour, that Hollywood glamour era, just, I need more books in my life with Hollywood glamour. So if you know any, please feel free to leave me a comment and suggest one. I'll put it in my friend book jar up there. But yes, I absolutely really want to read this book so much. Yes, I've had this on my list for months and months, and I just really needed to get to it. So I actually did read part of it. Oh, look, I found extra book tabs. So I did read chapter 1 at some point, but this is inspired by Bonnie and Clyde. And so I really, really love that idea. I don't really know much of anything else about it. As the synopsis, even though it's long, it's pretty vague. And so that's okay. That's all I kind of want to know. I don't want to know anything. But if it's Bonnie and Clyde inspired 1920s, I'm good. I'm good. The pile's getting high over there. No, actually, I probably should move it closer so you guys can see it. If I don't break anything on the way. Okay, at least you can kind of see them. So that's, well, I put a couple back on my other book cart, but there's some of them. Okay. Then I have one of my favorite authors. It's funny saying that, because some of my favorite authors I've only read 1 book by. So I really need to figure out, are they really a favorite author or not? I have a feeling she's going to be. But she's going to be at the Fiction Readers Summit this year. So I really want to read more of her books. Actually, I want to read her entire backlist, which is only 5 books. So can I get it done before May? We'll see. So I'm going to be reading Lady Jane Disappears by Joanna Davidson Politano. So I'm so excited. I really want to know nothing going into her books. They're, again, kind of have that gothic creepy factor. Not quite like Jamie Jo Wright. She's more definitely just more gothic, beautifully written, gorgeous storytelling. I read The Lost Melody by her. Was it this year or last year? Last year. Absolutely loved it. It was so beautifully written. And so I really want to read this one because I have a feeling it's going to be great. All right, the next books that I'm going to read. This is a duology. And I'm going to be reading, what is this? I forgot the series name. Skyworld by Morgan L. Busty. I met her at the Fiction Readers Summit last year, last year. And I bought these books while there at the Baker's Bookshop, and she was there, so I had her sign both of these. And I was like, I was going to buy her other series, the Ravenwood series, something like that. Because that's the series I actually did read by her and loved it. And so, but they only had like book 2 or something there. And I was like, I'm not going to buy just one book. I could have bought the one book and then had her sign 2 book plates because I had extra book plates when I was there. But so I ended up deciding to buy a duology because they were both there. And so I was like, you know what, we're just going to buy these. So this is a steampunk Christian fantasy series. I'm trying to think of what steampunk is, if it's sci-fi or fantasy. I think it's kind of in the middle of both, actually. So yes, Blunt Secrets and Secrets in the Mist. So very excited to read these. I don't really know anything about them. All I know is I really love fantasy and sci-fi, so I have a feeling I'm going to really enjoy these. And these covers are so beautiful. I love these so much. So very, very excited to read both of these. I'm going to have to make another stack over there because it's getting too precarious over there. All right, the next one that I'm going to grab is The Girl Who Could Breathe Underwater by Erin Bartels. I have her whole backlist. I couldn't decide which one to put on my list, but this cover intrigued me the most with the girl under the water there. And I don't know if it's really a mystery, but it's about a novelist named Kendra who moves into her grandfather's old cabin in Hidden Lake. And she has a problem and a plan. The problem, an inflammatory letter from a very disappointed reader. The plan, to confront Tyler, her childhood best friend's brother, and the man who inspired the antagonist in her first book. So it's about writers. I don't think that was more of a thriller, suspense book, but I don't think it really is too much. So, but I read Everything Is Just Beginning by her this past year and loved it. I thought it was so good. Absolutely loved it. So she kindly actually sent me her entire backlist. Like, I asked her for a book plate, kindly asked her for a book plate to put in the book that I loved by her. She's like, I'll send you some surprises. And she sent me her entire backlist, which, isn't extensive, but it was like 4 or 5 books. And I'm like, wow, thanks, Erin. So very excited to continue reading her books. I have a little, not a book plate, but just says one gift to you. And I think it came with a bracelet. I don't know where the bracelet is right now, but very excited to continue this series. And I'll probably keep that as a bookmark to use. But anyway, so I'm very excited to have that one on my list of reads this year. Okay, this book, again, is one I wanted to get to right when I got it. Right when I got it, I planned on reading it. I was like, this is going to get done right when I get it. Did it? No. I used to be really good at that. Like, if I got a book that I was, like, hyped up about, I wanted to read it because I knew I was going to love it. Last year was just not the year for that, unfortunately, but that's okay. So, that one I'm going to be reading is Cloak of Scarlet by Melanie Dickerson. Normally, when I get a book by Melanie Dickerson, I will immediately grab hold of it and read it in 24 hours. Like, immediately. She is one of my all-time favorite authors. I love her so much. I think she's just amazing and such a beautiful writer. I love her so much. And I've talked with her over on Instagram multiple times. She's just an amazing lady to talk to. I love her so much. And she just kindly blessed me with this book. And so I'm just so excited to finally dive back into this world. So I'm very excited. Her next one's supposed to be like Jack and the Beanstalk retelling. So we'll see how that goes. I'm excited. I'm really excited. So this one I think it's, is it Little Red Riding Hood? That's what I'm guessing, honestly. So, but I'll read them all because I love Melanie. I love her so much. So I will support her writing because she's just amazing. So I cannot wait to read this one. I don't even need to know what it's about. I'll read it and love it. So there's that. Okay, now this one was such a sweet surprise. So again, I wrote to the author, told her how much I loved her book. It was The Warsaw Sisters by Amanda Barrett. And she was like, have you read my other book, which is Within These Walls of Sorrow? And I was like, no, I haven't. Actually, I don't even think I heard of it, honestly. And that surprises me because I usually know quite a few books that are out. But she was like, I want to send you a copy. So I was like, okay. And that was a week before it won Book of the Year at the Christie Awards. So I was very excited that she sent it to me without even knowing that it was going to be a winner for the Christie Awards. And so I was very excited to get to be able to hold a Christie Award winner. It's not going to have a sticker on it, but it is a Christie Award winner, which I'm so excited for. And she sent me a little bookmark and she had it signed. So absolutely love it. She also put my favorite verse in here, which is Jeremiah 29:11. So I was just so excited and so happy to get this. And like, if it's as good as The Warsaw Sisters, The Warsaw Sisters is my favorite World War II book I have ever read. Ever. It is so good and so beautifully written, but so heartbreaking, and it's absolutely gorgeous writing. So if this one is as good as that one, she's already a new favorite author for sure. I cannot wait to read this. Okay, so I need 3 more books to read. So I already looked on my signed bookshelf. I already looked on my, that's most of those books on that bookshelf I have read. I try to keep them separated. So I have my book cart in front of me right here that I can find a few more books. So I need 3 more. What do I want to read is the question. Let's see. I could put a nonfiction on here, but I don't know if I want to. I mean, I want to read it. I loved the movie, but I just don't know if I'm going to be able to read this. I have a feeling it's going to be pretty heartbreaking. I don't know. I mean, I loved the movie. This is The Zookeeper's Wife by Diane Ackerman. I just don't think I'm prepared for that. And if I was, I would probably get the audiobook for it. Let's see. What else is there on my shelf that I want to read? Let's see. I've already read those. Oh, those should be on my red shelf, but they're not. I think for my last few, I think I'm going to pick a couple Book of the Month books because, number one, they're kind of iffy for me. I haven't found a lot that I actually really enjoy. I have a very few that I've enjoyed. So I think I'm going to pick 3 Book of the Month books. I don't have many anymore. I think I have, looks like 6 or 7, maybe 8 that have been Book of the Month. 6 that actually have the Book of the Month sticker, and then 2 that I know that were, but like I didn't get them that way. So let's see. I think I will go ahead and grab this one since the cover grabbed me. And then let's see. I think I'm going to do this one only because I have a feeling, I don't know if I'm going to like it, but we'll see. And then I think I'll grab, let's see, I think I'll grab this one. I can't get it out of my book cart though. Oh, we're all stuffed in here, aren't we? Might have to move stuff around. I also realized I thought I unhauled that one, but I guess I didn't. Why is everything so stuck? It's because everything, why did Book of the Month books have to be so big? I need either a taller book cart or something. I think I can get it out now. Maybe. All right. Finally got it out. So these are the 3 that I'm going to add to this year's list. So pretty much cover picks all of these. So the first one is Liberty by Caitlin Greenidge. Yeah, Caitlin Greenidge. Again, the cover really grabbed me, really drew me in. So I grabbed this one. I think I ended up swapping this one with somebody else, I think, on the Book of the Month group. But this one is about, let's see. It's an unforgettable story about one young Black girl's attempt to find a place where she could be fully and only herself. So it's a coming-of-age story of a freeborn Black girl in Reconstruction era Brooklyn. So I'm excited to read this one, and hopefully I will enjoy it because, yeah, again, as I said, Book of the Month is kind of iffy for me, so I don't buy them anymore unless they have a really good sale going on, but they haven't really had a great sale going on. So, and then I'm going to do Pull Me Under by Kelly Lucci. I think I actually got this one from, was it a library book sale, I think? Can't remember. But this is about a girl, she's a 12-year-old daughter of the famous violinist and Japanese living national treasure, Hiro Akitani. And I know she's unfortunately abused by her classmates, and bullied by them. And I think something happens where this is kind of like a Cinderella, almost like a Cinderella type story where like her mother passes away, and so she she goes after another student that's bullying her, and then so she's put into an institution for the next 7 years, and pretty much her father disowns her. So I'm really interested to see how it's going to be. Again, the cover really drew me in. So I'm excited to see if I'm going to like this or not. So that is another book that I want to read. Okay, and then the last one that I have, I'm actually going to put a bonus book up here, so just so you know. But I'm going to read The Sweetest Remedy by Jane Igaro. But again, the cover really drew me in. But this is about a girl who I think she doesn't know who her father is, if I'm sure. Yeah, girl named Hannah. She's never known her father. He's a Nigerian entrepreneur who had a brief relationship with her mother. And so I believe she goes back when her father dies, and she's invited to Nigeria for the funeral. And so she's probably gonna, it's kind of probably gonna be a family drama story mixed with a little romance. But if you've read it and you think I'm gonna like it, let me know. So I will be reading that one. Okay, and then I'm gonna put this one on because this one I've had on my list for so long. Well, it's been on my shelf. So I don't know if I'm going to like it or not. I know a few of my friends have enjoyed her other book, Susanna Clarke's Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I'm not going to read that one. That one's huge. But I have one of her other books, and it's Piranesi. I think that's how you pronounce it. But this is a kind of fantasy type. I think it has to do a little bit with, I don't know if it's Greek mythology. I don't think it is necessarily. But it's about a house that its rooms are infinite. So its corridors are endless. Its walls are lined with thousands upon thousands of statues, each one different from the other. So it's a labyrinth, quite intriguing house. And so, yeah, so I'm excited to read it. It's very short. I mean, it's not super long. I should be able to just fly through it. Yeah, it's only 245 pages. So will I like it? I don't know. Did I get it just because of the cover? Probably, because it's very beautiful. And I love the, oh, there's a scratch on there. I think I did that. But yeah, so there's a fawn on here. So I'm very intrigued too. Is it a fawn? It could be a, not a fawn. I can't think of what that creature could also be. I can't remember. It's in one of the, it's in a book I'm reading right now. But yeah, so very, very intrigued to see if I like this. So this is a bonus 25 books to read in 2024. So we'll see if I get to that one. Okay, so those are all the books I'm going to be reading. Well, not all the books. Trust me, I read more than that. But my priority list for 2024. So 25 books to read in 2024. I think I have a really good mix of genres. I have sci-fi, I have fantasy, I have maybe Greek mythology. I don't know what that one is. I have historical fiction, fairy tale retellings, contemporary, suspense, mysteries, romance. Yeah, we got a little bit of everything going on. So very excited for all of these. Let me know if you've read any of these and what you thought about them. Even if you didn't like them, just let me know. And, I might still pick them up. But yeah, so I'm very excited to share all these with you. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I will see you all in the next video.